On this episode of the Average Tabletop Gamers, we're going to be speaking to Karl from Crooked Dice about 7TV and the latest Kickstarter. Hello, Karl. It's nice to see you again. Obviously, saw you a little while ago at, I believe it was Border Reivers, where
Is that the last time? Yeah, it might be.
yeah, that was the last. And obviously, I know that the convention calendar's a bit bleak at the minute.
It's a bit of a wasteland, yeah.
But there is still hobbying to be done, and obviously all the self-isolation gives everyone a good chance to paint that miniature backlog, which, if I turned my camera, you would see the 6 foot high pile of plastic and
As
white metal.
a hobbyist, you've got 12 weeks. Happy as Larry, aren't they? It's
Well, that's the plan. And I know quite a few people who are managing to work and paint as they go.
at
Um,
the same time.
so before we start, obviously, as I saw today, so obviously it'll be yesterday by the time this goes out on YouTube, or it'll actually be today on YouTube that is your actual birthday. So it's not yours, but Crooked Dice's 10th
But
birthday.
yeah, to the best of my knowledge, I found a post on TMP of a weird thing saying we were launching. And yeah, we've been going 10 years. Not bad going. So
Not bad. I mean, I've been aware of your stuff certainly for the last like 4 or 5 years, mainly I think, from
yeah,
either seeing you at various conventions and like lusting after some of the minis you did. I think it was I think it was Border Reivers a few years ago where we actually stopped and had a chat with you
that's right. Yeah,
and had a real good look at what you did. And then I think that was where the hooks of 7TV
I can
got
only
embedded
apologise.
in me. So obviously, I saw there was some special offers and some new minis that going to be released alongside the birthday celebrations. So what sort like obviously I saw the editor in chief. I know that's a one that I saw posted. I think someone
Yeah,
must have picked that up at a con recently.
don't know how well I'm going to get in shot.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah,
So you've got the editor in chief. I saw it, saw him. So he'll be getting picked up by me at some point.
bless you.
Um, so what else have we got planned for the birthday celebrations?
Well, really, it's loads of stuff that we were going to release in April because there's always a big month. Salute would have been in the calendar, so you try, make sure there's plenty for that. So we had the editor in chief. The big thing, quite literally, is Great Cthulhu. He's about 90 mil tall, about 120 if you take into the wings. Sculpted by Andrew May. Get my hand out of the way.
See, who needs a turntable?
He's a beast.
That's a
So I'm
beautiful
delighted.
model.
He's just absolutely gorgeous. So he's coming out. We've got some bits for fantasy. So Stone Lasher, or Rock Lasher, I think they ended up calling it in the end. And that comes with a couple of little, get my hands out of the way, Stalactites 2. So they come with that set. And then there's a separate Stalactite set which has got a rock pool in it because we're starting to do some sort of dungeon scenic stuff for fantasy as that comes out next year. What else have we got? Another little MDF console which I've had sitting around for ages.
Yeah, I saw that one. I've got a bunch of that stuff there from
Yeah,
that I bought to go with the secret base kit
yeah,
that you do. So I've got a bunch of those consoles sitting ready to go in that layer. And I saw that one. I thought it'd be quite nice to have that little corner console. So
yeah. Good one for kind of filling rooms or doing little blocks of or something. So I've got the little tulip chairs and bits and pieces of back in stock as well. So you'll have desks and stuff for that. So there's those. There's the horrible giant spider, which is massive again. It's like that yay big or something. And some other bits and pieces in there. So yeah, there's a load in store. And if you buy it tomorrow on the birthday, then everybody that buys anything tomorrow will get a free Janie.
that's one of the kind of Ghostbusters or Ghost Hunters inspired.
Paranormal Exterminators.
Yes,
Yeah, that's the one. And the first 20 people who put in an order tomorrow will get the Crooked Dice 10th anniversary calendar, which has got loads of photography in it. 12 by Kev Dallimore. Oh, from the last 10 years worth of photo shoots that we've done. And there's the Argonauts.
and there's the Argonauts.
And there's the Argonauts. Look at that. Yeah, that's tomorrow. So we thought we'd just bring it forward a little bit for Salute. I'm sure we'll do something on Salute weekend as well. but I thought 10 years was probably worth celebrating. So there's plenty of stuff there for people to pick from if they like it. Plus all the new releases that we had out, all the sci-fi pulp stuff is all in there as well. So
Excellent. Well, I'll put a link below to the web store in the subject line. So if you are going on the day this is released, which should be, I don't even know what date it is anymore. That's what self-isolation is. So that'll be the 31st of March. So if you're watching this on the 31st of March, the day we actually put this out, get on there and you might snag yourself a calendar and you might snag yourself a journey, as well as all the other cool stuff that's on the web store. And let's face it, there's a lot of stuff on that web store that you can choose from.
It's an eclectic mix, isn't it?
Yeah. So obviously was it last Thursday that you launched the latest Kickstarter? I think it was something like, yeah. So this is the Argonauts, correct?
That's right. Yeah, they are our kind of our robot legions. It's one of the program guides for 7TV. So while we do lots of generic stuff and people build their own, we also do bespoke program guides. So we did the Children of the Fields in before, and we've got Department X and Shiva and the Paranormal Exterminators. So it's a little standalone setting with its own profiles, 36 profiles in that. A lot of those are new because they used to be in first edition, so we've updated it for that. And there's at least 11 new sculpts in one of the pledges, and a few other bits and pieces of add-ons as well. So mad robots. There's Fendroids and the Argonauts themselves, big and small ones, and a load more character models.
Yeah, I mean, my brother, Average Lee, as he is, he's just actually painted up a cast of Argonauts. So we'll stick some pictures of those on our Instagram. Again, I'll put the links in that later on so you can all see those, and you can see the kind of minis that you'll see. So as you said, they were from first edition, weren't they, the Argonauts sculpts themselves?
They've been, I don't know, year to kind of 2 or 3 we started to bring some of those out, and they were larger resin ones.
Yeah.
But we reworked the rules and some of the backgrounds for the profiles a little bit more, because it ended up that you weren't getting a lot of variety in the casts.
Yeah.
You were playing big models, and it meant it was quite a sort of narrow, tactically kind of force that you could deploy. So we broadened that right out now, and you've got a couple of fast strike models in there, and some flying models, and some various lots more scope basically.
And so, is there any new or like any variations on the themes or the mechanics that we've got within 7TV? So like you've got the gadget cards, the Arcana cards. I'm trying to think of the other ones. They've got like the gear cards and things like that. Is there anything that's different for Argonauts?
Not for this one. For this one, it's just the new profiles in there. So there's 36 of those. The book itself has got 6 new episodes in it that you can just sit down and play. And all of the casts that you can play against are just straight out of the core box. So, it'll be Argonauts versus Army, or Argonauts versus a Mad Inventor, or something like that.
Yeah, so this fleshes out essentially any of the other boxes, really, I guess. Or is it meant to be run more with the casts from the core box, the Inchai Spy-Fi, or could you mix this in with, say, an Apocalypse or a...
I think people mix and match as they like. That's the great thing about 7TV. If you want to do Mad Killer Robots versus Mad Max or Scooby Doo or whatever it is you want, people do, and I'm not going to stop them. So but it's written in that kind of Inchai Spy-Fi 7TV Studios world, as it were. So there's background into the kind of the old TV show that used to run, and lots of kind of TV listings and stuff like that in there. You've seen in Children of the Fields probably in the past as well. So.
And so that Kickstarter, is that you're running the Kickstarter for? Is it a short period Kickstarter, like a week-long one?
Days. I've kind of played about with different lengths of time, and actually short and sweet seems to work just as well. So we are halfway through. We're 5 days in, and we are a little way. Where are we? We're just between about 10 grand. At 10 grand, you get DC, who is the next unlock, who is a man. I don't know, is about between $5 and $7 million to rebuild him.
He's got the technology.
He's got the technology. We will unlock him. So he's the next one at 10 grand, and then there's free stuff mixed in with those pledge goals as well. So you're getting free figures and the choice to do add-ons as well.
Yeah, and I
Um,
notice there's a good range of pledge levels as well for like the builder level, the gamer level, obviously the all in for the fanatics like myself out there who will basically just go and
thank you.
that like that box there, that Apocalypse box is probably still full of the all in pledge that I did
Um,
from when that was on Kickstarter. That's probably still full
yeah,
of. I think I've painted two of the casts from Apocalypse, but I've got to have them all because they will get painted eventually. It's just a case of I've got to pick and choose these days what my priorities are.
you've got to keep adding to your lead mounting, otherwise it becomes unstable and collapses, doesn't it? It's a health and safety issue if nothing else. So you've got
Well, it's now that you see a lot of stuff gets made in plastic. It means that my shelves don't bow as much, so
to,
I've got to buy more lead weight to put on the shelves to get that bend in them to make them unsafe. So what I'll do is I'll obviously pop the link to the Kickstarter below in the comments, and if I can put the flashy up on screen, I'll do that. But remember, you've only got a few days left to get in on the Kickstarter. Um,
yeah,
so when is that Kickstarter? When do you? Because I know normally your Kickstarters are quite quick to turn around in terms of the fulfillment of the pledges. So
yeah.
when do you see that happening, and when would you think that this kind of the stuff that's in the Kickstarter will go general release for anyone who say isn't ready to spend the money now, but maybe wants to get in on the Argonauts later on down the line?
Yeah, it will probably go into retail. I'd imagine late summer. It's a little bit tricky just to do estimates and project planning at the moment, with you not knowing kind of
Yeah,
quite when Griffin are going to be back open again in there for things. But we've got the sculpts are being worked on now. They'll be ready probably in the next few weeks. So I'll start up the pledge manager probably next month. This one had been sitting around for ages. It was written and finished 18 months ago. But with pulp and with apocalypse and everything else that's been in front of it, it's sadly sat on the side. So I just really wanted to try and get some more stuff for 7TV out and do it. And I know at the time it's kind of difficult and a bit uncertain for everybody, but I thought it's all ready to go.
yeah.
So
Um,
let's go.
you've been very prolific the last couple of years with the releases for 7TV, and I think the support has been amazing, and the community is amazing. And I think that's one thing that we all said, as part of our 2019 wrap up that we did kind of thing is, we're talking about the community side of 7TV and how there's that many ideas flowing in, and obviously there's the the fan interaction or the sorry the community interaction of coming up with new concepts and design. So like the other day there was that discussion about interactive props, which is like spawned off into its own group now, where the the community itself is starting to build, and we've got obviously you gave that profile creator out for people to build their own casts and things, and that's one of the things we loved about 7TV is the fact that you can have an idea and run off and think, do you know what, that's going to be
Yeah,
my cast. Like I mean, the current meme of the time right now is the Tiger King on Netflix, and
I might watch that tomorrow. Actually, have you seen it yet?
oh, I've already seen it, yes,
Okay, I haven't seen it. I'm looking forward to that.
and I'm just waiting now for someone to produce a Joe Exotic and a band of tigers as a cast. If no one else does it, I'm going to do it. Um,
I might rise to that challenge once I've watched it.
but it's just that's the thing is, so like the inspiration comes from anywhere, and the community seem to embrace it, and that's what I really like about the 7TV and the Crooked Dice, like kind of family of games that you've got out there, like the 7TV side of things. And it's great to see. So obviously this is Argonauts, and you've already you mentioned before you've got a few other bits already in the pipeline. So what kind of things can we expect next? Because I remember when I spoke to you a few years back, you basically said at that point you had about 9 different guides kind of ready to go.
Yeah, still have. I might get a little bit of time in the next couple of weeks to start working on one that I started working on about a year ago, which is Adam Kismet for 7TV. But there's loads of other stuff already going on in the background. There's 3 kind of campaign packs, really, is the best way to describe them, for Pulp. There's a Flash Gordon style one. There's Secrets of the Golden City, which is a kind of Indiana Jones explorer um, uh, adventure in the Himalayas, which is quite good. And then there's going to be probably a mini box release for something called Lurkers from the Deep, which is a Cthulhu themed.
Yeah, is that
Uh,
the fish, like the fish
all the fish
style, like the what is it, the Innsmouth
it's
style?
very
Yeah.
thing, yeah. So it'll be a squad of G-men investigating this weird town on a New England coast where weird stuff's happening.
Nice.
So it's a branching adventure idea, all played with 7TV kind of episodes in there, with some new mechanics for sanity, and some sort of bespoke characters in there. So you can, and that's the rest of the guides as well. 7TV community, as you've already said, is great because people come up and build their own stuff. But I also get a lot of people saying, "Oh, I'm not great at coming up with my own ideas for adventures. Can you do just published things?"
Yeah,
So
and I
we're
think
trying to do something for both.
the published works really do. They've got so much like depth in them in terms of, they're not just dry rule books. The fact that every one of the guides is styled like an actual TV guide, like a TV Times or a Radio Times from our past, I think just helps buy into the ethos of the game, which I think again is something that really hooked me from the very start. Maybe I'm just a sucker for the background fluff.
Yeah,
Um,
and that's the most fun to write, to be honest with you. It's and there's some great stuff to learn because that started off as a work experience program for two of the students that worked on Pulp. They
yeah,
wanted some placement work to do, so it kind of span out of that idea. And actually, there's now a development group because it got too big for what their initial project was intended. So that will probably be Halloween, and that will again probably be another Kickstarter for kind of smaller box and some minis and bits and pieces, investigators and that kind of stuff.
well, everyone out there who isn't spending money at the minute commuting or whatever, once you've managed to sell all your toilet roll on the black market, get your money put away and look out for the next Kickstarter that comes along. So yeah, as I say, obviously we love everything to do. So I'll make sure we've got links everything everywhere below for your web store and for the Kickstarter and everything like that. Is there anything else that you want to give a shout out to? You want to mention now to the hordes of average tabletoppers?
I would just like to say thank you to everybody for all the support that they've given over the last 10 years, really, because I wouldn't be here. I'm really lucky in the job that I do, but that's very much down to kind of everyone's support for the game and building the community over the last 10 years. So, yeah, thanks to everybody, really.
Excellent. Well, thanks for your time. And again, I'll make sure that anything we do, we put on our Instagram and our Facebook and our Twitter and everything like that, so you and everyone out there can see all the attempts that we make to make our casts. As I say, hopefully when we're finally allowed to go and meet up with our friends again, we'll be getting in some 7TV, and I'll probably have a few more casts painted by then.
Be good to get together again when we have a big game session. I think we've got another of the 7TV days planned. It might get bumped with everything else that's going on, but we're going to try and start doing some of those. So that'd be great for everybody to get together and say hello again after all this nonsense. So.
Yeah, well, hopefully, I mean, it's one of the things we've been planning to do is come down to Borden Brum with some cameras because Ben on the channel,
Yeah,
I think he knows some of the guys at Borden Brum, and we keep saying, and I know it's a fair drive down from Newcastle, but we don't want to load the car up and head down with some cameras to actually capture one of these days in action and actually play some games ourselves. So when that gets organised, maybe we'll come down and we'll make a spectacular of it.
brilliant. Let us know. I'll make sure I'm there.
Excellent. Well, thanks for your time, and as I say, I'll put all the links below to our social media, and if I'll put your social media on the bottom as well, so people know where to go to find you. And until obviously the next Kickstarter or whatever, on the next con, we'll see you soon.
Lovely. See you later. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
So thanks to Karl there for dropping by and spending some time with us to have a chat about 7TV and that Argonauts Kickstarter. As I said in the video, we'll be putting links to anything like that in our social media, so check out our Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, which you should see at the bottom of the screen now, and you can check out the Crooked Dice social media, and I'll put the links to that below in the subject or in the description of this video, and I'll also put the links in there to the Crooked Dice web store and the Kickstarter. Now remember, the Kickstarter's only got a couple of days left as this video goes out, so if you're going to get on that, you need to get on that soon. Otherwise, you can keep checking the web store or the social media from Crooked Dice for when the minis and the profiles in this current Kickstarter are released through the web store there. So until next time, thanks for stopping by and watching this video by the Average Tabletop Gamers. Why don't you go and check out some of our other videos now if you get the chance. Thanks. Do.